Hello students, welcome to our reading and writing lesson. Today we're going to study formal versus informal emails. Today's technology has enhanced the way we communicate. Years ago, people would wait several days or even months to send a letter. Nowadays, your message can be sent at the time of a click. And that is wonderful. Thousands of emails are sent all around the world every day. We can write emails about tons of topics to different people with different objectives. They can be addressed to our friends and family, maybe a casual conversation or invitation. It can be about trips or hobbies, give information. Maybe we can email a company, a business, or an institution, a school, to my teacher, to send a homework, perhaps applying for a job. There are too many subjects that we can talk about, but there is an important thing. The shape or the pattern of an email can vary. I don't speak the same way to my friend that I do to my boss. That is why the pattern can be formal or informal. But how do I know the style I will apply? Well, we have to take into account our audience or recipient. But who is our recipient? Well, our recipient or audience is that person or people who receives our emails. Maybe I can send an email to my teacher at university, at school, or to an institution applying for a university, or to apply for a job. Maybe I can send an email to a company. In that case, I will use a formal email, formal writing in my email. But if my audience or recipient is my family or my friend, my aunt, my cousin, or my best friend, it is an informal email. Formal and informal writing have different characteristics. Formal writing is characterized for following rules. It has good grammar, orthography, punctuation. It is also organized. You can understand everything in that email because of its organization. It is serious and official, since sometimes it might be addressed to important people, maybe people that we don't know. On the other side, informal writing doesn't follow rules. It is spontaneous and casual. Friendly because it has that relationship with that person that is receiving the email, and it is unofficial because it is usually to your friends and family. Now, let's compare the parts of a formal and informal email. The recipient is different. Formal is addressed to a company, professor, employer, as person with a special title, maybe a doctor or a lawyer, while informal emails are addressed to friends and family. The subject of the email is very important in formal emails. It must be clear because if you don't write it, you may be ignored. Your message or email can be unread. While in informal writing, sometimes it doesn't have the subject. Now, the greeting. If you notice, in the greeting in formal emails, we use the word dear or hi and the titles Mr. or Mrs. It is important to highlight that we use the last name of the person. For example, if the person is Johanna Wells, you have to say the last name. Dear Mrs. Wells. While in informal emails, you say the first name. We can say hey or hello. For example, with Johanna Wells. Hey Johanna or hello Johanna. Now, in the body is the most important part of our email because it contains all the information that we want to share. Formal, we don't use abbreviations, not colloquial words or contractions. In informal, we can use abbreviations, colloquial words, and contractions. For example, here you can see some abbreviations. We have here the phrase and the word, the abbreviation. For example, for can be written using a number 4. By the way, they use the first letter of each word, BTW. Before you, we use B, letter B, number 4, and letter U. And so we have more of these abbreviations, and you can find many others. Some contractions like this. Do not is contracted don't. Doesn't is does not. Cannot, can't. There are more contractions. These are only a few examples. Okay, now finally we have the closing. The sign off in formal emails can start with sincerely plus my name. Sincerely, Catherine. Sincerely, Tom. Or the phrase best regards. On the other side, we have informal. You say bye plus my nickname or my name. Okay? Or you can also say see you soon, maybe contracted. Well, it's time to analyze. Here we have some phrases that we can find in some emails. The first one, imagine that the recipient is a person who works at the bank. What kind of email would you use? Okay? Yes. Formal. I will write a formal email. Now we have the other phrase that is, hey, Tom. Well, if I notice, we have hey, that is for informal greetings, and we have the first name of that person, that is Tom. So, in this case, it is informal. In the next one, could you give me some information? Could you give me some information? It sounds polite. I will use this phrase to a person that maybe is not a close friend or a close person. Another thing, I am asking for information. So, In this case, we need to write a formal email. I'm gonna get late tomorrow. Okay, I am really sure that you noticed that we have two abbreviations, gonna and tomorrow. So it is informal. Dear Mr. Williams. Dear Mr. Okay, this phrase is used in formal emails, and we have the last name. It's not the name, it's not the first name, it's the last name, Williams. So it is formal. Best regards, Catherine. Okay, best regards, Catherine. That phrase is used when we want to say goodbye in an email that is formal. Now, in the last one, imagine that the recipient is your best friend. Okay, I'll definitely write an informal one. However, you can also set a format to a close person depending on the content. Well, students, class is over and this is all for today. I hope you have learned a lot today. See you next class.